Hi everyone. Let's talk about the 4 verb tenses you are going to need to use in your writing this week. You are going to write an essay, a narrative essay, which is a story about something that happened in the past. And you can use what you wrote about in your amazing journals if you wish, or you could choose to write about something else. But it should be an event that happened, that was a problem or a dangerous situation or something that was traumatic. It can be something small or it can be something life-changing. Whatever you like, but we're going to write it in the past and we're going to tell the events. And to do that, we're going to need to use probably 4 different verb tenses. So let's start with simple past. So we remember simple past, verbs that are regular end in ed. There are also many, many irregular verbs, right? Swim, swam, sing, sung, drink, drank, drive, drove. Most of the common verbs you use every day are irregular, but you've been studying, so we're good at that. To make it negative, we use didn't. For a question, we use did. So that's simple past. So simple past we use to talk about events that have been completed in the past. So for example, I woke up, I drank a cup of coffee, I got dressed, I took a shower, I got into my car, I drove to work, I opened the door, I sat at my desk. Those are all events that have been completed in the past. They're done. We often use simple past when we're telling a story, a series of events. I did this, then I did this, then I did this. So a sequence or series of events. I woke up, I ate my breakfast, I drank my coffee. Or to talk about a past habit. Okay, so some examples of simple past. I watched the movie. So we write ed, but it's pronounced t because of the ch sound. I watched the movie. Okay, I'm not still watching the movie. Usually with simple past, we would say a time, or either in this sentence or in some part of the conversation or essay. I watched the movie last night. What did you do last night? I watched the movie. I ate breakfast this morning. We washed and dressed before we left for work. I drove to work every day. Yeah, before COVID-19, before the coronavirus, I drove to work every day. When she saw him, she screamed. So we can have more than one event in the past. We can talk about cause and effect this way too. So that's simple past. All right, next on my list is past continuous or past progressive. These are 2 different words that we use for the same verb tense. I'm sorry, it's very confusing. But some grammar books and videos use one and some use the other, but they're the same thing. So past continuous or progressive uses was or were. So was for I was walking. Or for he, he was walking. But for you, we, and they, we're going to use were. So I was walking, you were walking, he was walking, we were walking, you all were walking, they were walking. So we use ing. You could hear it in those examples. And to make it negative, we use not. I was not walking. She was not walking. They were not walking. So we use this to describe an ongoing event in the past. So here's my now. This is the future. This is the past. Okay? And we use it to describe an event that is going on usually for more than a few minutes. So an ongoing event might be, I was walking in the woods. And I might use it to describe an event that is ongoing and interrupted. So an event that is interrupted. I was walking in the woods when I saw a bear. Simple past. I was driving down the street when I crashed my car. She was sleeping when she heard a noise. So here's some examples of past continuous. Oops, I see. Mistake right away. Okay, so they're all going to start with was or were, was, Okay, and then each verb has ing. Can't see that very well. There we go. With that. Okay, so I was washing the dishes. They were studying for 6 hours last night. So these are things that take a long time to do. If I want to describe the fact that they take a long time, I was washing the dishes. When you came in, that's what I was doing. I was washing the dishes. It took a while. It was a process. There were a lot of dishes. There's 5 people in my house. She was eating when the phone rang. So that's what she was doing, and then the phone interrupted her. He was sleeping, same thing, he was sleeping when I got home last night. Now in that situation, the sleeping might continue, and he comes home in the middle of that sleeping. But again, we want to emphasize it's a process. It's something that happens for a little while. Okay, so that is past progressive or past continuous. Whew, 2 down. Okay, past perfect is the next one. Past perfect. All right, so past perfect is the one we studied in class. We use had, and then the past participle, which for regular verbs is usually ed. Okay, I had walked many miles. She had talked to me about it. He had laughed, ha ha ha, about it. But there are many irregular verbs too, irregular past participles. Okay, so he had eaten too much food. He had drunk too many beers. So we use past perfect to describe events that happened before another event in the past. So we did that slideshow where the woman arrives at the train station, but the train had already left. Okay. So, for example, let's look at some examples. After she had moved out, I found her ring. So, she moved out, I found her ring. So, after she had, so in this case, it goes this way, after she had moved out, I found her ring. So, found is simple past, had moved out is past perfect because this event happened first. I had cleaned the kitchen well. I had cleaned the kitchen well before my mother came. Yeah, you betcha. If my mom's coming, I'm going to clean the kitchen before she comes, right? So this is event 1, and this is event 2. Same over here. Event 1, the first thing that happened is in the past, the past perfect, and the second event that happens is usually in simple past. Okay, came and found. So first I cleaned the kitchen, then my mother came. So I had cleaned the kitchen in the past well before my mother came. Okay, I washed the floor when the painter had gone. So had gone tells me that this is the first thing that happened. So first he leaves, and after he leaves, I wash the floor. So I washed the floor when the painter had gone. That happened before. Okay? All right, that's past perfect. And the last one is past perfect, continuous, or progressive, which I have only one of these sentences in my story. And if you don't get any of them in your story, it's totally okay. If you can use these, awesome. So past perfect continuous or past perfect progressive. So anytime you see continuous or progressive, that means ing. And anytime you see perfect, it means the verb have. And when you see past perfect, it means the past tense of the verb have, meaning had. Okay, you might want to rewind the video to listen to that again. So continuous or progressive always means ing. Perfect tenses always use the verb have and a past participle. And if it's past perfect, it uses had. If it's present perfect, it uses have or has here. So that's what the words mean. Okay? So had been something. So I had been swimming. I had been laughing. I had been thinking. So past perfect, we know is something that happens before something else in the past. But instead of being a one-time event, right, like I had cleaned my kitchen, this is, we emphasize something that is ongoing. So it might be to give background information, but it's definitely for something that happened before another event. So as a writer, you have to decide for some of these, are they going to be progressive or are they going to be simple? Do you want to think about the dishes, doing the dishes as a one-time thing that's quick and over? Or do you want to think of it as a process that goes on for a while? That's usually a writer's choice. Let's take a look. Martha had been walking in the woods when she started to feel sick. Oh. So this thing happens first, and this thing, simple past, happens second. So she had been, so before she got sick, she had been walking, and I use ing, been walking here, because it's something that was going on for a while. So I had been working there for 5 years when I got a promotion. So I have had, I know that it's something that happened before something else. Been, an ing tells me that it's progressive. I had been working there for 5 years when I got a promotion. So got is my simple past. So this happened first and this happened second. They had been driving. So that happens first. Had tells me it happened before something else. Been driving. So been plus ing tells me it's progressive. So it's something that was happening for a little while. Something in progress. They had been driving for 2 hours when they stopped, simple past, for gas. Okay? So all of these things are interruptions. They were walking in the woods, and then they started to feel sick. They were working there, then they got a promotion, they were driving, and then they stopped for gas. Now in each of these situations, the walking and the working and the driving is still going to continue, but there was an interruption by another event in the simple past. All right, you guys, good job. Don't forget, if you need more information about any of these things, Rebecca, English Lessons with Rebecca is a great resource on Google, on YouTube, sorry. So you can find great instructional videos on any of these past tenses on YouTube, but Rebecca is a good place to start. So let me know if you have any specific questions. See what you can do to use these verb tenses in your essay. Thanks.